It's always been about that. It's always been the main goal, the main idea. Um, However, it does change. It did change. How did it change? Well, very simply put, um, I don't know how it changed. I don't know how it changed. It's still the main goal. TikTok has been okay. Yeah, let's put it like that. TikTok has always been useless to me because I don't like TikTok. I like TikTok for the live. I like watching people live. I like watching people live. I like watching content on TikTok. I like the application, but I do prefer YouTube. Um, so TikTok has changed because it's a better platform for me doing live, but also for watching live. To me, it's just better, right? And because it's better, I'm enjoying. I found a purpose for TikTok, right? And I haven't found a purpose for Twitch. Twitch has always been about streaming. Twitch, I have this love story with Twitch, because again, it's my Genesis, it's my Garden of Eden, it's my chapter one of the Bible. And again, I'm not trying to be offensive by mentioning the Bible. Why aren't you working? Fuck you. Fuck you. Why aren't you working? Just work, dude. There you go. I'm just gonna be praying. Okay, we'll try again later, no problem. Um, I found a purpose for that. You know, I love Twitch. If it wasn't for Twitch, I wouldn't be there. I would love Twitch. But I had this love for Twitch. Even Kick, we gave a chance to Kick because it's a platform. I feel bad about that. I feel bad about not being loyal. See, now it's a good day. I'm motivated to make content. I'm motivated to film. I'm thinking about what's next. I'm thinking about the plan. People will ask me, why do you have such a hard time with the fact that you might not make it with content? Well, because you treat it as a plan A, right, for so long. You're starting to believe in yourself. And then it's always been that. It's always been, fuck you. If you don't believe in me, I believe in myself, and that's all that I mean. And I mean this with the utmost respect. My parents didn't believe in me, my friends didn't believe in me. Ultimately speaking, you were right. And of course there's this mentality of proving them wrong, but it's not so much about it's not so much anymore about proving them wrong. I'm like, you know what? It would be nice to prove them wrong, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I know my truth, which is I'm doing what I love. That's pretty much it. I was talking with my ex, and she was like, oh my god, I was dating her for like a month. She was talking about buying a house, and she was like, I don't want to have to pay everything if I go out with you. And I said, who's talking? Who is talking about you buying everything? She said, well, you don't really work, and you're not making money from your social media. And I'm like, yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy. You could date a piece of shit that is unhappy, that treats you like shit because he's unhappy. You're dating a dude who treats you right, right? And he's like, yeah, you're right. But yeah, it's not about proving people wrong anymore. It has been. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It has been, but it's not about it anymore. However, it is still a bit of a mourning. It's still mourning the loss of someone, um, because you are mourning the loss of a potential business. And people say it's not about the money, but I'm in such a weird position. My love for making content has completely changed. If you ask me why I love making content last year, the answer would have been something along the line of, I get to be myself, I get to talk, I have a good community, I have fun, I am in charge of my own schedule, I'm in charge of what I'm talking about, I'm in charge of what I'm eating, how I'm eating it, I'm in charge of everything that has to do with my personal life, right? But I think the proper love, the love that stays, I'm still, all of those things are still true, but there is a part of me that's been consuming a lot more content, and by consuming a lot more content, I'm falling in love with the idea of how content is made, right? How people. I was watching the documentary with Jake Paul yesterday, and he had a team, and in the documentary, I was like, dude, this is Jake Paul documentary, that you're barely hearing that guy talk. You're barely hearing him talk. You know, and I felt bad about that. I was like, why am I watching something about someone when it's everybody else talking, right? And it didn't matter because that was his process. His process was to do, not to talk, right? I'm a talker. I'm a talker. You guys have realized that, but it doesn't mean that somebody that doesn't talk or somebody that's less of a talker is less effective or less qualified or less talented, right? It is so crazy because, and again, I swear to God, this wasn't a plan. This wasn't my big scheme. I swear to God. I was also watching Brian, which was a Liver King. He's a talker. Jake was a doer. Jake Paul was a doer, and he was a talker. You know, you had two completely different people. They both got to the same place, but in different ways. You know? I hate doing the behind the scenes stuff. I find it boring. But at the same time, and it's so complex because this is part of who I am. I'm looking for this approbation. I'm looking for this respect. I'm looking for this acknowledgement. You guys know I did a classic course in baking. You guys know that, right? I was supposed to be a baker. There was no money to be made, so fuck it. When you think about it, it's insane because I gave up on baking because everywhere that I was going, I was making minimum salaries. And I was like, no, I got a diploma. You have to pay me more because I had a diploma, right? It didn't make sense to me. And I gave up because there was no money to be made. I went to school for a year to be a baker. And I gave up after 2 years. I have been making content for 4 years. And I have made money, of course. But I guarantee you that in 4 years, we made less than 4 numbers. We made less than 1,000. It doesn't make any sense. However, we have this passion. We have this love. Right? We have this love. And on days like this, making this much content, I feel alive. I feel reborn. I feel like myself. I feel like I'm gonna say I feel like a god. I don't feel like a god, but you compare your everyday shitty life, following directive, following the hive mind, and this freedom. You can fly. You're in a different space continuum, and it's amazing, right? I feel like the luckiest of dudes. But I think it's also mourning. I think it's also because this is the problem with me. Whenever I say something positive, I have to make a negative. Or whenever I say something that I'm being sincere or I'm being serious, I have to make a joke, right? It's just the way I am. It's just the way I am. The death of this possible career is mourning. I had mourning when I gave up on making bread. I had mourning when I gave up on being a businessman. I had mourning when I gave up on karate. You know, I had mourning when I gave up on chess. I had mourning when I gave up on, in French, chess is échec. I had so many mornings, right? And I was talking about baking. My favorite part of baking wasn't making the bread. It was so crazy. My favorite part of I worked for this job, right? And it was my first bakery I was working at. And again, it's like your first time on a bike. It's like your first time having sex. You never forget your first. And the first one I was going to work at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I was ending my shift at 11. And they were opening at 10. So then one day it's like, why are we opening at 3 o'clock? He said, because our job is to make sure that the customer has a product. And then I didn't understand that. I was young, I was 19 years old. And then I went back home and it hit me. And I'm like, I'm not even there. not even there. And the comparison to making content is crazy because it makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. It's crazy. It was about. I went home and I was like, people are enjoying what I did this morning. And I don't need to be good. I don't need to be told, hey, you did good. I don't need to be told thank you. So the fact that something that I did is being enjoyed is amazing. Now, how does it compare to content? I'm seeing my analytics, I'm seeing my views, and lately I got a video that hits a lot of views. It's an old video. And I'm like, I don't remember why I did this video. One of my most popular taste tests, which is the thing that we did the most on the channel. And it's so funny. One of the One of the videos that got the most views, the most results, if you will, is a Doritos chips review. Now, if you guys know me, you know I don't like Doritos. First of all, if you watch the video, I'm sick as a dog. I'm talking with my nose because my nose is full of mucus. But then I'm like, and at first I'm like, what the fuck?